If you ever tried to be mindful and somehow ended up feeling even more irritated or more aware of your stress or like you just were bad at it, this video is for you because the truth about mindfulness, it's been packaged in a way that makes a lot of people think that it means to be calm, clear your mind, light a candle, and become some kind of glowing, peaceful force fairy who never gets overwhelmed. But honestly, that version of mindfulness has made a lot of people feel like they're failing. So today I want to talk about the real truth about mindfulness, what it actually is, what it is not, and why it can feel so uncomfortable at first, and how to use it in a way that actually helps your nervous system and your real life. Because mindfulness is not about becoming a different person, it's about learning how to be with yourself without abandoning yourself. I think a lot of us were introduced to mindfulness like it was supposed to be this perfectly peaceful experience, like sit still, take a deep breath, think beautiful thoughts, feel instantly better. But if that's your experience, amazing. But for a lot of people, that is not how it starts. For a lot of people, the moment they slow down, they suddenly notice how tired they are, how anxious they are, how overstimulated they are, how much tension they've been carrying, or how loud their thoughts actually are. And when then they think, wow, I'm terrible at mindfulness. But you're not terrible at mindfulness. You're just finally noticing what was already there. And that right there is one of the biggest truths nobody talks about. Mindfulness doesn't create the chaos, it reveals it. And that can feel uncomfortable before it feels healing. So let's make this simple. Mindfulness is not about having no thoughts, it's not about forcing yourself to relax. It's definitely not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. Mindfulness is simply the practice of paying attention to the present moment without immediately trying to fight or fix it or run from it. That's it. It's noticing. I'm clenching my jaw. I'm rushing. I'm eating this meal and not even tasting it. My mind is spiraling. My body feels heavy today. I'm feeling sad and I've been trying to outrun it all day. That is mindfulness, not perfection, not peace on demand, just awareness with compassion. And honestly, that kind of awareness can change your life because you can't support what you refuse to notice. Now, here's the part I think is really important. Mindfulness can feel hard because a lot of us have been living in survival mode for such a long time. And when you've been in survival mode, your system gets very used to things like staying busy, staying distracted, staying productive, staying fine, and pushing through. But when you finally stop for 5 seconds and check in with yourself, your nervous system might not say, ah, yes, lovely. It might say, absolutely not. We do not have time for this. Let's panic. Let's think about 47 random things. Let's remember something embarrassing from 2008. But if that happens, it doesn't mean mindfulness isn't working. It usually means you've touched the layer beneath the coping. And that's actually where healing starts. Because mindfulness is often the first moment we realize, oh, I haven't really been here. I've been just managing. And that realization can be tender. It can be also very powerful. Let's talk about one of the biggest myths. Mindfulness is not a magic calm down instantly button. Sometimes it helps you feel calm, and sometimes it helps you feel honest. And honestly, that's sometimes even more valuable because if you're dysregulated, overwhelmed, resentful, exhausted, or emotionally maxed out, you do not always need to immediately become calm. Sometimes what you need first is to become aware, aware that you're overextended, aware that your body is asking for rest, aware your bad mood is actually unmet needs, aware that your irritation is grief, aware that your exhaustion is not laziness. Mindfulness helps you stop mislabeling what's happening inside you. And that matters because once you name it, you can tend to it. And this is where I think mindfulness gets way more useful because mindfulness is not just meditation. Mindfulness can absolutely happen in meditation, but real life mindfulness, it looks more like ordinary things. It looks like pausing before you automatically say yes when you want to say no. It's noticing your shoulders are up by your ears while you're answering emails, taking one breath before reacting to a text that triggered you, actually tasting your coffee instead of mentally time traveling through your entire to-do list, putting your hand on your chest and saying, okay, I'm overwhelmed right now. That is mindfulness. It's not always glamorous. It's not always aesthetic. Sometimes it looks like catching yourself halfway into a spiral and gently saying, nope, come back, sweetheart, one thing at a time. That's mindfulness too. And honestly, that version is often way more powerful than trying to force yourself into some perfect 20-minute ritual you secretly hate. This is really important truth too. Mindfulness without self-compassion can turn into self-surveillance, and that is not healing because sometimes people become aware of themselves, but in a way that's harsh. Like, ugh, I can't, why am I like this? Why can't I just calm down? Why am I so emotional? Why can't I get it together? That's not mindfulness. That's just criticism with a softer voice. Real mindfulness sounds more like, okay, I see what's happening. My body feels activated. I'm having a hard moment. This makes sense. I need support here. That shift matters so much because the goal is not to observe yourself like a problem to solve. The goal is a witness to yourself like someone worth caring for. And that changes everything. Here's why mindfulness matters so much. Because when you practice it consistently, even in tiny ways, you create a little bit of space between what you feel and what you do next. And in that little space, that's where your power comes back. That's where you stop automatically snapping, numbing, overthinking, overcommitting, doom scrolling, people pleasing, or abandoning yourself on autopilot. Mindfulness gives you a moment, a breath, a beat, a choice. And no, that doesn't mean you'll always choose perfectly, but it does mean you begin living more consciously instead of just overreacting. And over time, that changes how you speak to yourself, how you handle stress, how you move through conflict, how you care for your body, how you show up in your life. That's why mindfulness is so powerful, not because it makes you float above your problems, but because it helps you stay within yourself. So if mindfulness has felt confusing, intimidating, or like one more thing you're supposed to be good at, I want to leave you with a super simple way to practice it. Not perfectly, just honestly. The next time you feel stressed, overwhelmed, disconnected, or mentally all over the place, pause for just a moment and ask yourself these three things. What am I noticing right now? Maybe it's tension. Maybe it's racing thoughts. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's hunger, fatigue, or overstimulation. 2, what do I need right now? Not forever, not for the next 6 months, just right now. Water, a breath, a pause, a boundary, a walk, a softer thought. And 3, what would support me in this moment? Not what would fix your whole life, just what would support this moment. That is mindfulness. Simple, honest, supportive, and that's where it starts. So, if no one has told you this lately, you do not have to become perfectly calm to be mindful. You do not need a blank mind. You do not need a perfect morning routine. And you do not need this to do this. You do not need a blank mind. You do not need a perfect morning routine. You do not need to do this beautifully. The truth about mindfulness is this: it's not about escaping yourself, it's about becoming home to yourself. One breath, one pause, one honest moment at a time. And if it's all you do today, that is enough. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What do you think mindfulness really means now? And if you want more grounded, gentle tools for nervous system support, stress relief, and mindful living, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next mindful moment. And please download my free gift, Peace as Practice, description. And I invite you to download my free gift, Peace as Practice, a simple 5-step process you can practice daily. The link is down in the description. We'll see you next time.